Hey everybody, Mark here with Couch to Camino 2026, and guess what? We're under 60 days. 55 days from today, I leave for my 6th Camino de Santiago. I'm up here in the city. I'm taking a walk on the park, or in the park. Getting a little hills in. It's cold this morning. My nose and cheeks are red. It's a little chillier than I thought it was, but it's not too bad. I'm about 3 miles in and pretty warmed up, so not too bad. Hope you can hear me over the trains and everything. I'm kind of near a railroad track, obviously, since there's trains. That's how trains work. So, as always, if you have a question or a comment, leave them below, or you can email me at askmeacaminoquestion@gmail.com, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. And this week's episode is kind of about that. We've been very lucky that, for whatever reason, my little training episode got around to some folks, and we got a bunch of subscribers off of it. And now, getting a lot of questions from folks who are fairly new to the channel, or folks that are a little concerned after seeing my training stuff. So I want to just stop and take a minute this week to address that. And I apologize, at some point I'm going to go into grouchy old man mode. I'll just start out that way. So let's talk a little bit about rules for the Camino, because this is coming up a lot. So, what is a real Camino? When you're on Camino, one of the best and worst things about the Camino is the people and the community that surrounds this hobby. Now, before you get going, you're spending a lot of time online. You're spending a lot of time on YouTube, watching me. Don't know why. And there are a lot of pretty obnoxious gatekeepers out there in the world who really have set firm views on what your Camino has to be. Let me be clear. The only people that get to decide what is a Camino is the church and you. That's it. Nobody else. There's pilgrims in the world who think if you ride a bike, your Camino is less than theirs because they walked. If you ship your backpack ahead, you're less of a pilgrim because they carried theirs. Now, why does how somebody does their Camino, how does that, or why would that impact your Camino? I don't get that. Like I said, the only people that get to make a rule for the Camino are the church and you. What does the church say? The church says you need to walk 100 unbroken kilometers on your feet and document it in your credential, your daily progress, present it at the church, and you can get your Compostela. That's it. Now, for bikes and horses, I think for bikes it's 200 kilometers. For horses, I don't know what it is because, frankly, horses. So, 100 kilometers unbroken. Now, notice I didn't say you had to end in Santiago. As of 2025, if you do 100 kilometers unbroken on any Camino in any of the connected countries that are recognized, you can get your Compostela. It's just a matter of documenting, taking it to the church. Nobody says you have to do it in 30 days. Nobody says you have to start from France. Nobody says you have to do it only on foot. You want to do it foot and bike? Great. You're just not allowed to use a vehicle. So, the other person is you. You need to make up your rules as you go for the Camino. Very particular to you. Nobody else gets to make up rules for your Camino. What do I mean by that? So, every time I go on Camino, I have rules I set for myself. Like for this upcoming Camino, My personal rules are, number one, once I set foot on the Camino, start walking west, I will use no forms of motorized transport. Whew, it's a very steep hill back there. And I'm talking. So I won't use any motorized transport, including elevators. That's just how I do my Caminos. Two other things. I'm going to try to get out every day and visit something in each town, village that I haven't seen before, because I've get you out of the sun there. You know, I've seen so many of these places. Got to specifically look for new stuff I've never seen, new experiences. Third, apart from one place where I like to stay, it's a very, 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 very small village. There's only a couple of choices for accommodation. I've already booked that one, but everywhere else I'm planning on staying is somewhere I've never stayed before. Again, new experiences. So those are my rules. Those aren't your rules. You can't have those rules. You have to make up your own rules. And that's what makes the Camino so incredibly personal and personally satisfying, is you're not trying to achieve somebody else's goals. You're achieving the goals you set for yourself. And you know you. I don't know you. Well, there's about 6 of you that I know, but other than that, you guys got to make that rule for yourself. So here's some of the concerns specifically that people have emailed me with is, hey, I'm a little bit older because my channel, this channel does tend to skew into the silver beards and over. I don't know if I can train enough to be able to do the Camino in 30 days. Or I've been training, I'm losing weight, I'm getting in shape, but I just don't know if I can walk the average amount of distance that most pilgrims walk in a day. And my answer to them has been, who cares? It's your Camino. Whatever you're comfortable in walking, that's what you walk. As I've said before, the Brierley guide, John Brierley and his guide and his group, fantastic folks. They have helped literally millions of people do the Camino, and there's a lot to be said for that. But unfortunately, since it was one of the first guides, people think that the Brierley stages, the 33 stages or whatever, that's how you have to do it, because that's just, you know, it's been done that way since the 70s, so you have to do it. That's not true. You can go through, starting in Saint-Jean or Pamplona, Burgos, Osario, wherever you're going to start. If you know you're capable of comfortably walking 10 kilometers a day, great. Break your stages into an average. It means you might have some 8-kilometer days, you may have some 12 or 13-kilometer days. Just break it up to a comfortable average. Don't get really nailed down to one specific number. Just work around it. People have said, I don't know if I can be in enough shape to keep up with my family or my friends or whoever I'm traveling with. One of the most important things you can take away from my channel, I hope, is everyone walks their own Camino. You can't walk somebody else's, and that includes when you're walking with a group or another individual. We came up with something in 2017 that we've done ever since. We just call it the Camino Slinky Dog. The fastest walker goes ahead, the medium walker goes in the middle, the slower walker begins a little later. If you're a slower walker and you guys all want to meet at a particular village for lunch, and you just know after, hey, we've been on the trail for a week, it's going to take me a little longer than everybody else, but I don't want to keep them back. Maybe you leave the albergue an hour before they do. Maybe they kind of leave an hour behind and they catch up with you. There's ways to work with your group to make sure that everybody's comfortable with their Camino. Sometimes if there's a person who's last in chain, the person who's first takes everybody's passports and credentials. That way, when you get to the albergue, if it looks like things are filling up and your buddies still haven't shown up, you can go ahead and get checked in. And it works it's a little more fair if you're doing that for, like, if you've rented an apartment or you got a hotel or something. But some albergues won't allow that, but some do. It's just being flexible like that is going to help everybody get their Camino in. So when you look at my training program, when you're taking this advice, this is the Great Camino Salad Bar. You take the stuff that sounds good to you, you pile it on your plate, you sample it, you change up the mix a little bit, you figure out from what the Great Camino Salad Bar is going to work for you, and that's the most important thing. Please do not listen to the people who say, you have to do it in 30 days. You have to stay in these villages. You have to only stay in albergues. If you ever step foot in a hotel, you're not a real pilgrim. You have to carry your backpack. You have to do this. You have to do that. The only thing you have to do is what the church says you have to do and what your heart says you have to do. Those are the only things I really care about. And I hope that this made a little bit of sense. Like I said, I'm just kind of an old man yelling at clouds today. But I've gotten more emails from that training video on this than I've gotten from anything else. And I just want to reassure everybody who's new to the channel, hey, the Camino is for you. It's not for anybody else. Please, if you're new and you haven't gone back and watched, I think it's my second and third videos, my video on learn from my mistakes, because Lord, I've made a lot of mistakes on Camino. And the second one was, you need to walk the right Camino, meaning walk the correct Camino. And that covers a lot of this stuff. So please, you new to the channel, go back and watch those guys. Everybody else, thanks for putting up with my slow uploads. Things are just crazy around here. Everything's good, just very, very busy. And I'll try to be better. Because I'm out walking today, I don't have my list. And honestly, I was going to do Logroño today, and I'll do it at the end of the week. Logroño's an odd duck because I've never stayed in a bunk bed albergue there. I've always stayed in private rooms there for one reason or another. But I will, the next video upload, I'll do all my lodging options that I like in Logroño. Other than that, later in the week, I'm going to do the beginning of the food episodes. I'm going to do restaurants, dining out, how dining out, eating in restaurants is so different in Spain than in America for all my Americans. The Australians, I don't know. I assume restaurants are the same there. Who knows? Y'all are Australians. But I'll get that worked in towards the end of the week. Should have some downtime. But anyway, it's good to see you guys. And can't wait till the next one. And hopefully, by the end of the week, it's going to be warm enough that I can get out and walk and not freeze my toes off. So I'll see you guys next week or at the end of the week. And take care of each other. Take care of yourself. And we'll see you later. Bye.